The Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel Powerplays.
He's so excited back there, isn't he? Well done to Beast Coast, an incredible comeback in our best of three. It also gives me the opportunity to talk about the Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel Powerplays, which you can vote on which one you would like to see broken down by our man at the weather station. So let's take a look at the 4 clips.
Trying to kill the engine impression very quickly, able to do so. Buyback is available, able to do so with him and the ice box already flying.
There's just so many different crazy
roach
roach fights that happened as a result of this series. I have to say, Nefrade, he really showed off in this first game, right? His ability to run around and take over the map with this Weaver. You're talking about like individual showings. I think Nefrade had his as the Weaver, and then Wish on the Tinker. What a sick call from Boogie.
Into the trees and TP away won't work if Winter Wyvern's still there, and there it is.
Almost turning around that game. Yeah.
I would like to see that one broken down.
That was such a cool play.
See Purge slow that one down and explain how. That would be really cool.
And the TP as the shackle flies in.
Yep.
And the funny part was they were hunting for him.
Whisper's insane.
Whisper is a great offlaner, man.
Yeah, that was nice. I like a bit of TZ clipping.
Interestingly, at the start of this fight, he approaches the Dragon Knight, ends up popping his Shadow Blade that wastes the blink dagger of the Dragon Knight. That's a huge advantage that makes the Winter Wyvern die a lot more slowly. And after Wyvern is dead, everybody on War is going to start retreating to the left as they glimpse back Broodmother. But this is the important BKB timing for Beast Coast, and as a result, they get to roll onto the back line, kill the Undying, focus heavily the Dragon Knight. Boogie ends up coming in as the Night Stalker to try to slow this stuff down, and he does interrupt and almost kill the Shadow Shaman, but the Glimmer saves him. They followed up with the Winter Wyvern ulti, and this gives Whisper a great idea. He gets plenty of setup, he gets to skewer back the Night Stalker, and he grabs an extra with the Disruptor as well. Nice play by Stinger to save him. And then interesting, at the end of the fight, all of a sudden Shaman's over here guarantees the godlike streak from Tinker dying. And if you take a look at how he played this, he glimmers, he runs to the right, and he starts his teleport, anticipating that Tinker is going to be playing on the far left side of the fight. And as a result of that, they also got the Tinker a 5-man wipe and a huge fight for Beast Coast.
Let's check in now with the Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel Powerplays. We've got some more for you to choose as to which one you would like Purge to break down. Gents, take us through these. The Blind Arrow to start with. Oh, yeah.
This is kind of the pace of this game, that Blind Arrow, where they're just going to slowly but surely get picked off on the side of NIP due to the fact that they couldn't really force any objectives this entire game. And eventually you're going to have your base swarm just like this. And the 5-man from VP this game was just so powerful. All the auras just dumping out damage with heroes like Necro with passive damage. And then in this game, like Purge already highlighted this team fight, the Fatal Bonds. Like once you get a 4-man Fatal Bonds,
isn't it?
It's just over.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that first game is still just something that sticks in my head because you've got the total damage output in that game. NIP did 220K to 140K from VP, and VP won. That's how much sustain and tankability there was in that VP lineup.
And right here, you're showing how hard it is to kill PL as the game went on. Like, they had the tiny toss into Rupture. Like, that's pure damage, and you still just can't bring
It's
it
really
down.
tough, though, when they get that 5th pick PL, right?
Oh, absolutely. Uncounterable.
Hey guys, so the clip that ended up winning was the Warlock action clip. This is 31 minutes into the game where VP is going high ground. Now they've already got Aegis on their PL, so that means this is a guy that's going to want to hit the buildings and make sure that all of his allies are really far away because they've got to be afraid of a lot of spells. They got to worry about Rupture, they got to worry about Tiny Toss getting sent back, they got to worry about Burrow Strike and Arrow. It's a big deal. So what they do, they ward high ground like all good high ground pushers should do, and everybody stands super far away, all the way in the back. That way it's difficult with this vision for Tiny to blink all the way and toss somebody in. They end up landing a stun here and blinking away so Universe can protect himself, arrow follow-up. And at this point, Solo knows that a fight is about to happen. So if we take a look at his positioning as the initiation comes. First stun comes, second stun comes. He realizes that they're not going to go on him, they're going to go on his carry instead. So he starts moving forward. He drops the Fatal Bonds, puts the ulti down and catches almost everybody. And really nicely here, Resolution noticing a great opportunity. 2 heroes stunned together. That's going to allow him to blink all the way in. He was standing very far in the back too. Catch both of those heroes. And as a result, that's 2 other heroes not able to do damage during the initial bit of the fight. CM gets picked off, Skeeter's forced to run away, and after that they can disengage even though there's buybacks. PL doppelgangs to buy himself even more time, and still no Aegis was lost. So perfect high ground push from VP.
Let's also wrap up on the entire day as well. What a day. What a day. I mean, it started off this morning with that best of 3 that went all the way with Beast Coast in it. I think we had Mega Creeps in the first game, which they won. We had Mega Creeps against them, which they then won. There was a Rapier involved at some point. I mean, pretty much a bit of everything today, including the Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel Powerplays, which we shall check out and find out which one you liked most. Gents, let's talk through these ones. 4 to come. The first one is the Clock and Kunker.
Yeah, these are the kills in the landing stage that like really put Hector back.
He was on the back foot, wasn't he? Top lane. This was the first set of the kills. Actually got killed again just after that. The second one, this is the Vici wipe.
Oh yeah, this is. It was really nice how they were positioning themselves with the Vici supports in these fights, making themselves the target, making themselves the focal point to protect Paparazzi in the back line.
And this is the
part of what they got them back in the game. Yeah.
Is you seeing that he drops all the way down to low health as the Sand King form, and then he's just back to full because you have 2 different health pools on Morphling, and showing the struggle of killing him throughout the course of the game. But this almost seems like yesterday. It
really does.
Long ago
and it's just
to watch them winning.
Such a stark difference because it was just Vici that had the ultimate win condition in game 1 here behind the Paparazzi Morphling, but it just felt like in games 2 and 3, as the game went on, Beast Coast needed to win that one big fight, and they had the win condition.
Here's another Morphling escape, which sees him almost down to almost no health and then back up again.
I mean, Papa was magnificent.
He was fantastic. And our 4th and final one, couldn't not have one with the Elkin, could we?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll be the RP steal. Man, I'm telling you.
So any of those 4, of course you can vote for any of those, and Kevin will break the one that you vote for most out of all of those 4, depending which one do you like most? Which one do you want him to dissect?
Hey guys, you picked the Alchemist takedown. Now, it's very important that you kill him a lot in the early game. Otherwise, what he's going to do is collect a lot of farms. So when he showed on a creep wave, all of Vici Gaming rotated over, and then everybody on Beast Coast basically threw their bodies at Vici Gaming, saying, take me instead. But luckily for them, they were able to catch him with this Chronosphere. Now, the big downside, Hector actually turned off his Radiance here, hoping that it would help him juking, and as a result, a little bit less damage done, maybe forced Chris Luck to all-in to kill the Rubik as well. And on the other side of the fight, they were able to clean up, Chris Luck here, Abaddon barely escaping, and also at the start of the fight, dealing with, who was this, Abaddon, or the Winter Wyvern as well. So just really good fight for Vici Gaming. Didn't matter in the end, but at least they killed the Alchemist a few times.
Okay, time to check in with our Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel Power Plays. You'll remember we give you 4 clips to look at, and you get to choose which one our favourite weatherman will break down. This is number 1, the Morphling Rampage.
Oh my. Yeah, this was, we talked about this guy's PL all tournament long, but it was the Morphling in game 1 that absolutely took over the game. Of course, behind the Earthshaker, we know about that combination, but he just did anything you wanted to in these fights.
And there's nothing like a flying man coming in and hitting you for 1,200 damage. It's very enjoyable to play against, and honestly, it is really enjoyable to watch, as sarcastic as that playing against Par was.
I mean, yeah, it's great as being a spectator. It's the worst thing in the world being on the end of it. I just don't want to be on the other team. Our second clip is the Rubik block.
Oh, very nice. And I just absolutely, I can't say enough. I love what Save did for VP in this tournament. I know we've spent a lot of time talking about Epikid, but I think he looked like an amazing 4-position player.
Absolutely. Got a 4-man RP earlier on as well. Despite the fact that we were talking about the subpar Magnus so far that we've seen in the series.
And you see like the impact the Brewmaster pick had. He's the hero that's supposed to just walk in and force them to go on him, and that enables the Magnus. In the first game, they didn't really have that, so it made it much harder to get that good RP, but you're seeing there the early Blink Dagger on the 4 position.
And we couldn't leave out a Chrono, obviously. Got to get 1 in.
Usually they're fails, you know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could do a whole video on those ones, I think.
You say the Chrono, but like just look at the AoE spam by Alliance overall. I mean, good luck even getting to a tower.
Guys, welcome back. The clip you guys chose was the Morphling Rampage. Now, the big MVP of this fight was actually this guy right here, the Abaddon, believe it or not. It places a ward on the high ground, and that gives vision of the entire fight. And importantly, he's drawing 2 big spells from Hanskin here, using both Hex and Earth Spike just to disable him. Maybe you could call that a mistake. And then over on the side of the map, you see the real terror coming. Let's see if we can zoom in on this here. There it is, just instantly one of the heroes dying. That's because of the ward that he's able to spot him. Also, he's able to jump for the next target. That's going to be this guy right here. Definitely the right person to jump on. No disables on him right now. Jumps in, gets the 2-shot, and now right off the start of the fight, there's only 3 heroes left, and it's all of the cores left on Alliance. That should make this game pretty straightforward. Not to mention the fact that they have a 19k gold advantage, which allows all the cores the ability to get BKB. Another really clutch move here, used by no one. Resolution is the hero that's a little bit in trouble here. And what he does when he gets kind of low is he puts his Lincoln Sphere in there that blocks the rupture and basically takes all of the damage potential out of Alliance's lineup when the BKB gets activated. They even skewer forward, trying to get the RP there. In the meantime, Morphling has just been cleaning up consistently. He's going to try to guarantee the OD kill as well, but at this point, it's just cleanup. He just gets to play around. Jumps back, fissures, jumps back in again with the waveform, gets another kill, and the buyback on 3-3 here. He realizes it's over. They give him the rampage, and that ends the game.
Time now to check in with the Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel Power Plays, where we give you 4 choices for Purge to break down. So you get to vote on all of these. This is the first one, the TNC counterattack.
Yeah, nice counter initiation, but at this point they're already in a pretty dominating position. The Roar, Gabby with the BKB. Nightstalker is actually just such a busted hero. 50% attack slow, or 50 attack slow, 50% move speed slow, and a 900 AoE.
Okay, here's the Aegis Snatch.
See, I would have liked this
cool.
if you actually got this,
Slow it down.
and you had the second one beforehand, where you get the back-to-back ones.
I wanted to see the one where there was a huge team fight and Techies was not there, but rather just mining the pit. That was my favorite because, you know,
that's
really,
the play we would actually vote for, is like Techies wasn't there. All right, great.
Gyro triple kill. Always nice to see. Plenty of damage on him in the later game.
I really like this
You complained about the damage early on, but he did get it in the end.
No, yeah, it's one of those things, like, you want to wait for that big hero to come in and just do something amazing and take his game, and that's exactly what happened. Both these, like, I want to go for 3 and 4, because both time, it's like when the Rapier comes the first time, then the Rapier gets delivered the second time, and TNC didn't see it coming both times.
And he died incredibly fast. The issue was just, of course, they couldn't do this unless they were on the defensive. But as you can see, this was a huge turnaround and could have theoretically turned the game around, but alas, was not to be.
Okay, well, they're your 4. You can vote on those right now, and then after the break, or a little bit later on.
Hey guys, the clip that was decided on was the Gyro Rapier pick with TNC going into the enemy base. Now this is a pretty crucial moment where Gyrocopter had previously lost his Rapier, but luckily the courier swings on in, does a nice little delivery here, and allows Gyro to initiate with a bunch of damage. Now the reason that Rapier is so stupidly good on Gyrocopter is because you're essentially doubling your attack speed already with Aghanim Scepter, and buying a Rapier increases it by like 125% on top of that. So it's a double of a double. Huge amount of damage output here, and especially the Alchemist didn't have BKB active. He'd used it previously in the fight. He didn't even have his ultimate active as this fight started. They did not see this coming. They knew Gyro was going to come back. They didn't expect him to have enough for a Rapier, and as a result, they were able to swing back and buy some time, get a second Rapier, and delay the game for another 10 minutes.
Let's take a look at the Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel Power Plays selection for you. Remember, you get to vote on these 4, decide which one Purge will break down for you before the end of the show this evening. So our first one is the Beast Coast Fight Back from game, is that game 1?
Seems like
It is, I think it is game 1, yeah.
Oh yeah, this was the Chris Luck Tinker game, absolutely.
These are the type of fights that I don't know if any other team would win. Maybe other than OG. You know, this is OG-esque for sure. You're just down by 9,000 gold. You can't really see the kill score very well, but they're down by like 5x kills every single game, 20-4.
This is the Death Prophet Houdini move.
And it was actually a nice, I believe nobody dies on either side here. This was a nice escape by both teams here. It looked like Alliance was going to have a turn behind the Chronosphere.
The Legion takedown. This is number 3.
Oh yeah, you know, after, I mean, they just were sick. Chris Luck is sick of 33 at this point. He'd already been dueled like 4 times. It's like, please, okay, I'm gonna get at least a measure of revenge. Oh, and the blinding light out of the Roche pit as Schofield gets the Aegis.
These are the type of plays you need to make if you're gonna try to come back into the game. Obviously it didn't work out for them in the end, but that's just...
Hey guys, you wanted to see the Mirana Aegis snatch play. So this is an interesting moment in the game. Alliance is pretty ahead here, and grabbing an Aegis is going to give the Alchemist a massive win condition. He can go hit buildings, and he's backed up with all the healers and defensive spells that they have. So this would be really bad for Beast Coast. One good thing is they do have some observer wards on the map, spotting the high ground area over here. So that's going to spot some of the heroes that are going to run nearby. But they also have a sentry in the river as well. But the problem is that as their opponents use their invis and start approaching, they don't have high ground vision, so they don't really get to see them until it's a little bit too late here. And as a result, Caudle swings in the top. They actually kind of ships in the night up here with the Shadow Demon, maybe a little out of position going towards the shrine area. The blinding light separates them from the Roche pit. Schofield's able to grab it. Unfortunately, only level 1 leap and runs out of charges since they're recharging a bit slow. So either way, not the best thing for Beast Coast, but still a nice advantage that they took away from their opponents that would have made the game a lot harder.
Let's check in with the Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel Power Plays. These are the 4 power plays that we've picked out for you from our first series of the day between Gambit and Alliance. This is number 1. This is the Void Chrono in Game 1. Remember, you can vote on these. Please do so because Purge will break down the winner of this. You can do that right now over on Twitter. The poll is open.
I mean, let's be real. Any play not involving GPK Ember Spirit has got to be at an immediate disadvantage.
Yeah, there's a triple kill.
Oh, yeah. And here's where it really got going. Here's where, after the 2 solo kills in lane, you still wondered whether they were going to be able to convert that advantage into the hero taking over the game. And this is the point at which you're like, wait a minute. This kid is actually going to just take this draft and win the game.
It's a special type of player to be able to do that and also have his teammates trust him to do so. This is the story of this series, I'd say. The Chronos, not just the Ember Spirits, but every single game we had a Void. And this particular game, they just had no farm on anyone else other than the Mag, or other than the Alchemist. So they just threw everything on him, as you saw there, and he just can't live through all the spell damage.
Man. Final one is the back and forth. This is from Game 3.
Oh, absolutely. And how many of these fights were there in the mid lane? I really did think Alliance were looking so good. They're able to force the GA defensively on the disengage so often in these fights, but you could just see it fight after fight after fight. They're having trouble tracking down those high value kills.
Hey guys, you picked the back and forth team fight from the previous match, 21 minutes into the game. And this is the time where Alliance has a really nice timing. They just finished BKB on the Alchemist. He's also got a Blink Dagger and an AC, despite the recent items. Now, what's happening right now is there is a pending team fight here. Everybody on Gambit is on the high ground here, ready to siege the tier 2 or look for an engagement. And Ember had just finished killing his top lane, went back to base, and just purchased his BKB. And what happens is they see the Fire Remnant sitting here, and as a result, they feel like maybe we can catch him as he comes back to the Remnant. He does, it breaks the smoke, but because he's got BKB active, he's able to change them both. Grimstroke ties them together, and now Void gets to go over here and aim for the supports. These are the big targets they want to take out in the fight, because that's an RP and a save from the Oracle. That's going to make it a lot harder for them to win their fight. Also, Vampire here lifting the Rubik up and pushing him to the right. That's going to keep his damage away from his allies, which is very important. Unfortunately, FNG going to be the odd man out. He gets caught by the 2 run-at-you heroes. And despite them killing those supports, what happens now is Alliance gets to do what their heroes are good at. Very tanky heroes, good at chasing down their opponents. Gambit lost their support, so they can't stop this run-at-you, and it just creates this atmosphere where they're just going to kill each other and then spread out, and then we're going to go back to farming.
Time for us to check in with our Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel Power Plays. You'll remember that we give you 4 power plays for you to choose from. Please feel free to vote on Twitter. Vote is open right now on the poll, and you can vote for your favorite. Which one's it going to be, gents?
Well, this one was pretty interesting. I remember it was such a sick Fisher, and then it just led into an easy combo. The Soulbind plus the Lasso, giving you a cute little free Aghanim Scepter, basically, and they just kind of run over TNC from there. And this was most of that game, basically, because the slower lineup from TNC.
I love that both of these first 2 highlights these are kind of the 2 moments where I said to myself, wait, is Gambit actually going to win this series? Because we hadn't seen it taken to TNT like this all tournament long. They were the team fighting team, the premier team fighting team throughout the tournament, and all of a sudden Gambit is converting these fights.
Yeah, you could see very explosive performances by them from Gambit. One might call them TNT.
My.
And GPK just a beast, man.
It's a late night, folks.
Like that guy actually, like I'm surprised these clips aren't just GPK half the time, because he cleaned up so many that last one where he just got the triple kill.
I'm sure someone can put like a montage together of his tournament, because it has been an incredible first tournament for him.
One of my favorite combos that was executed this game was by Gambit. This is the match 2 of the best of 5 here. As they move in to take a team fight, they have a big advantage because they've got Grimstroke and lots of ulti combos. So what FNG is doing is trying to get vision for initiating. They already have a ward on the low ground to spot possible enemy movements, but fighting in this area is really difficult. There's a really small, narrow gap here, which makes it easy for your opponents to land really effective AoE spells, buy back, and defend themselves. So once he puts the ward on the high ground, he instantly drops the ulti, throws the silence on. Things don't look too bad for them right now, but as soon as the Batrider jumps in and gets the double lasso, and not to mention the Inkswell that increases Batrider's movement speed, pulling them further to the right, and also that Inkswell is going to pop before the lasso ends. That means he guarantees an AoE chain stun. It's an incredible combo, and Stroke of Fates through them to add a little bit on top of that. They end up killing the Ogre despite him being super tanky. Dragon is forced to pop his BKB. This is the item he's been rushing. He's been waiting 22 minutes to use this one item, has to use it to retreat, and that is what gave Gambit a huge advantage in this game.
The Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel Power Plays.